because one, they got rid of the physicality, which now it's an advantage to the speed and athleticism of players because they said you can't even touch them.
Well, that's where I go when the point guard is giving off the ball to these athletic, running, jumping forwards.
Right.
That's another change. I mean, forwards always could score, but it's the level of this running, jumping. At least let's leave the center out of it for a minute. Even though a bunch of them are coming out, like I said, Tyson.
Right.
Vic is Chandler's getting down the court.
Athletic center.
Down the court. He's getting down there with the guard.
That changes your whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. I'm watching. I said some of that's hustle too, though.
Right, it is.
Because Lamar, I remarked during this last game, I said he's the last one down the court.
And always. And I'm saying this for a reason, Mark. Dirk Nowitzki has changed what they said. I'm a 7-footer that you better keep up with me.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm more athletic, and I'm using things that you're the traditional big man that goes 10 feet out, puts you in a quandary. I don't know what to do. I said, well, these are big men shooting a different way.
That's
now.
right. But this is where it gets interesting, the old throwback to the new ways. Having a big man like this that you could throw in to score actually existed as a trend for a moment.
Right.
You know, right? When you had him, when you had Elijah Wan, when you had Kareem, okay, you had the scoring centers, you actually saw some of this kind of a thing. So that way, Dirk is a throwback. But again, but on the other hand, it gets to what we're saying about the different athleticism today. Yeah. That's why I was back to the offense. Right. In other words, Vic, I won't say that I assume the Lakers can adjust to something like that. Right. In other words, Vic, in other words, sometimes you can take these. Can you whip the Lakers into a faster running kind of a team? I think you can.
I think
to a certain extent. Remember Pat Riley's thing. It's a conditioning toughness thing too.
And the part
I'm not saying run like Atlanta, but I'm not saying run like crazy run, but I'm saying they could run.
Right, and I think the part that they're going is, okay, you're going to be good at running, but you still won't be better than the competition that's running. And I think they're going to
maybe, I don't know. See, it depends. To me, that's where the question marks come up. But the question marks come up across the group. It's not just Derrick. Ron Artest, even though he did okay in the playoffs.
Look at Portland. So that means that the Portland coach had a better scheme against Dallas, winning 2 games, and they were running tight. There was really no freebies. And the Lakers came in with better talent, all-time legacy coach, and got swept. I said, now.
But you had an underperformance issues, and remember, too, you had an underperformance issue, but Vic, too, the other games were closer.
You mean far as the Lakers?
Laker thing. So remember that, too. They actually could have gone. I think a couple of them could have gone the other way.
And that's what they're saying. They said it's either two things happened, Mario, and they're going, they gave up on the coach or they gave up themselves.
No, they gave this I don't know. I'm not willing to blame. See, in those situations, to me, you have to go right at the players, even though you can blame the coach on a general, because you always do. But at a certain level, no, I have to go right to Lamar. Piss poor effort.
Thank you.
Derek Fisher at least was trying, underperformed.
Right.
Paul Gasol,
terrible,
underperformed.
Way off.
I don't know about
they got on him. They just said, look at his stats and go, oh my God. He can't even get down in the paint, Mario. They said he's not even making himself known to be down in the paint. They're going like he just is allowing himself to be out 15 feet out. I said, you're not even battling for the position.
No, but it was so but it was so global because on defense there was no hustle.
That's right. I agree.
Everybody, as you watch them adjust, here Dallas is moving. You watch the Lakers. Everything seems slow reaction. Slow, but it was everybody. Now, when I say that kind of slow, remember, I guess we're using the slow differently, Vic. Because I think you're saying slow in regards to their ability to go fast. I'm saying slow in terms of hustle.
Right.
And maybe they can't up it. I think in the back of my mind, they can up it, play harder, play better, and be a different team. But maybe they can't.
I like what Charles Barkley said. He says, notice teams that all of a sudden come in the playoffs. How many of them just flick the switch on that don't play defense well, and all of a sudden they're playing tremendous defense? He says, in all his career, he says, I've never seen a team just turn on the defense automatically when they haven't been. It just doesn't happen like that. And he says, well, then you guys are waiting for the Lakers to turn it on. He said, it's done. It's not going to turn. They're just not built that way.
Even though people saying to some extent that's what Dallas did, though.
Dallas has been
when
playing
he says
this way.
That
best record tied with Miami on the road. Look at their stats.
No, but I mean, in terms of defense.
That's what I'm saying. Defensively, you look at their best. They play defense on the road. tied the best record. You look at this disparity of offense to defense compared to other teams, they're top. They're in the top. They've been like that consistently throughout the year. They said, what happened to the Lakers? They was doing this, up and down. There was no consistency. And everybody said, when they get ready to play, everybody kept saying, well, maybe they're just not passionate to play. And somebody just said, maybe they're just not conditioned to play that way. And we're just assuming
that's back to what still back to what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's why I don't know that they couldn't run it or up the ante.
Yeah.
That performance was mostly under.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and everybody's saying the same thing. We all are going, nobody gets out of here unscathed. And the one person I think who goes around and say, these are grown men, it's Phil Jackson going, you guys want to give the rah-rah speech? These guys have won 2 championships. How much more rah-rah do I have to give them? What's the incentive? But here's another one, Mark. It's kind of interesting. It may give a window for the Celtics coming open. Chris Bosh had a response that dealt with, he expressed that he was affected by the moment in the loss against the Celtics. Now,
what did he mean?
He says that moment overwhelmed him being in, playing in Boston, the mystique, the whole thing, and that he's on the road, everything that deals with him now playing on their home court, and he actually admitted that he didn't do what he should.
I think that happens to a bunch of them. I think it's human nature,
right?
And that's part of the whole issue of performing even on the road in the playoffs,
right?
And I, Vic, I also think that people get better with that too. They really do, and so, I give him that. That doesn't turn me against him.
Right.
I think that's part of even. Okay, don't we think LeBron kind of got affected in some of the early?
Yes. Yeah.
He did to me. He got affected by the stuff.
Well, if you look at the game too, you have to look at Chris Bosh actually looked like Pau Gasol many of the times on the floor.
Yes,
I saw it.
He did.
He was like rats in a maze or a rat in a maze. So look, what they're saying is the fragility of the moment. Could you afford to give that away, and could you afford to say that? And if you were the coach and you had your players, would you feel comfortable in him saying that to the media?
What?
Be careful now.
You know what? It depends how much people think those things are. I don't think it makes that big a difference. I would prefer you always said things that were wonderful, that fit the program, blah, blah. I would prefer that. But most times it don't. Most times they don't. And so then it becomes a question of how much it affects the other team.
Right.
I don't think that comment affects the other team in any kind of way, good or bad. Right. I think his teammates already know it.
Okay.
So I don't see it. In other words,
but you're the coach now. You're a player, and I'm saying you're looking at because Mar, you know this.
I don't think it's worth telling him to shut up. How's that? I don't think that's a thing you go to the player and say to him, "Don't say that to the media." I think you're taking a little thing and making a bigger thing out of it than you need to.
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying it's that big, but if you had your druthers and your
If I had my druthers, they would always say the perfect thing in every situation.
Well, I'm just saying. Because really what you're saying is that you're vulnerable.
Okay, let me give you you almost never see it, Vic. But I'm just saying sometimes people just handle things better. Like Dallas handling those flagrant fouls.
Very well.
Weren't you impressed with that professionalism?
Dude, the idea, the way they handle it, I follow you 100%.
So I tend more to say, okay, to me, Chris Bosh is just human. And I think he's kind of what you see. I mean, to me, it's kind of what you see. It's not bad. I think his other comments were more inflammatory that he said before,
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, look, it's overblown. I think it's overblown, and I also think the Heat kind of relaxed. I think, to me, I know somebody's going to say, how can you tell with this other game? I said, I think they're so extremely overconfident that may be the reason they lose. Because they did not, I said, you guys are not playing that hustle you did back in Miami, so you guys are kind of confident.
I agree. That one, but that's more typical.
Yes.
You're going to let down because I think in their heart they know they got him.
Yeah, I think
everybody know they got him.
Which can energize. The other part about this is where you said this is where the Celtics are great at. They said don't let us smell blood.
But you know what, Vic, and I remember that's who I was rooting for. Okay, we just got to talk about people who have Again,
different mentality.
They can elevate for a moment in period
through
of time,
injury,
but on how consistently and how long. I don't think they can do it again to a degree enough to beat the Heat. I just don't think. I think the Celtics and the Lakers are the same story in some ways.
Right, and I think the Celtics are better at working with the perceived weaknesses because they seem like they're trying always and exhausting through injuries. I said, look at the Lakers. I said, was there anybody injured? Nobody.
No. Celtics.
Yes.
Better hustle.
Yes.
Better team mentality.
Better.
Certainly seem to work together as a team.
Thank you.
Remember, that's been my criticism of the Lakers, but that comes back to Kobe. I said some players just don't build those type of allegiances, even though they're professional. Some people just don't build that, and I always said to me that was Kobe's thing.
Right.
He started trying to be more team.
Right.
But I wonder.
Right, and the part that Kobe went through that we saw on the maturation level when he was it's Kobe. He became what they call the rooter for the team, standing up, applauding, cheering. That's the maturity that comes in there. That's the doctrine of the Celtics. They came in together saying. You feel their presence even through their losing. You go like, you know what? These are street brothers or team as goes. We're gonna pull out all marks, and I love that about a team even in losing. I hate to see a team, whether it's Lakers or anyone else, play the way they did. It says my best thing to do is give up. I said I have no respect for you.
Now again, and I'm loath to criticize Phil Jackson. Most times, but then again, there's coaching styles of Doc and him are different.
Way different.
Especially as it relates to these players when they're having a bad time.
Yeah.
Even though I think this time, I don't know, I think Phil handled it well. I don't know what you could do with the Lakers doing what they did.
No, I agree with you. We're on the same page on that one. He did as much as he can, and he says he got 2 championship rings. He says, how do you guys win? The way you won it last year, what do you have to do? Okay.
That's I don't know what you do as a coach when it's that much just falling apart all everywhere. I have no idea. I really don't. Because even myself, I was last in the game out. Like the last 12 minutes, I was just saying, could this just be over?
Right.
Could this just be over?
And he said that, and he felt, and I think he sat there and said, we have to realize we are coaching young men, not grown men. And when we say grown, we're not by years. We're talking about the mentality and passion, and we wish the Lakers had that, but they don't. But there's a team out there that's resembling what I would call the Lakers when Kobe was it. And when he scores a lot of points, they get the same result. So Derrick Rose scores 34 points, and it's still not enough against the Atlanta Hawks, who's now tied 2-2. This is one of those things where I said 62 games doesn't translate to what you call automatic winning. The Hawks have stepped up. The man that's leading their team is the one that most people would sit there and say he's not the leader of the team. It's Josh Smith. He's turned into the big man facilitator, slam dunk, pushing the ball down the court. He's turned into your Lamar Odom without the outside shot. And I said, but he stepped up in other areas. I said, now watch this team. Now look at Derrick Rose. I said, aren't you guys shaking in your boots that you're going, he scored 34 points and we lost. This resembles the Lakers, and they have an offensive problem in scoring points. And I said,
Lakers of 2 years ago.
With Kobe, I said, you don't want to do this.
It resembles them, even though not the Lakers of this year, but the situation where they have that. But, again, Vic, it's a matter of other people stepping up. They have the people to do the job.
Right.
It has to do with the individual players, to me, who play like champions.
Right.
And whether or not they can do it or not.